All righty-o.
There we go.
Here we go, folks. It is time for a very special episode of the Friday Ramblings. This is episode 200. So we are going double up with double guests.
Oh, yes.
Yep, we managed to find the ancient crypt, remove the cursed seals, and dig out the co-host of our wonderful channel here and get him back on camera after a long time.
Yeah, I've stayed away, which, all right, I'm going to level with everyone on what's been going on. I'll give him the Cliff's Notes version. When was it I called you? Was it around August, September? Whenever I had to have the emergency surgery?
Yeah, August.
Yeah. So, go to work one day, and one of the women that I was talking to ended up seeing my face, and I kind of was doing the whole Rocky. Hey, dude!
I just want to go the distance.
Yeah. And could have been someone. Oh, wait, that's the wrong movie altogether. I could have been someone. I could have been a contender instead of a bum instead of what I am, which is what I am. Rest in peace, Marlon. You crazy bastard.
Very much so.
So, we end up finding out that I have Bell's palsy from a cholesteatoma. Look that one up, kids. That'll be some fun homework for you when you find out that your own skin cells turn on you.
Yes, which is,
scary.
Yep.
So yeah, my skin cells turn on me, grew a nickel-sized tumor. I have no middle ear. So I am listening to everything with one side, but literally one side. Only this side works.
Yeah. Still, well, his may have been caused by different matters. At least you can say you got something in common with the great Jim Ross.
Oh my God. He's got a wife and kids.
Yeah. And let's be honest, for those of you folks that have marathoned the WWE Network, even its subsidiary version on Peacock now that we get here in America, or those of us who are old wrestling fans like us, those first couple broadcasts after he came back were
rough.
I mean, you could tell that he had had something impacting him, and that it was not something that would just kind of like wake up and be gone one day.
Nah, this is basically a quote unquote lifetime fight. So yes, I have it, but you know what? I'm gonna make it, kids.
Hey, could have been worse. Could have been like Bobby Heenan.
Oh God!
Speaking of somebody that sounded weird after his procedure, that Hall of Fame, when he first starts talking, it takes a minute for your ears to readjust to the slur in there after, because that was what, throat cancer?
Throat and tongue.
Yeah, throat and tongue, because that's what threw it off was the tongue.
Yeah.
Swelling there, but
mouth cancer in general is what he had, but
yeah, it was in the throat and tongue. And I'll tell you what, though, that may be one of my favorite all-time Hall of Fame entries speeches.
Oh yeah.
Just because, I mean, it's Bobby, one of the greatest talkers in the history of, let's be honest, television. He admitted in his autobiography he didn't like doing things like stand-up comedy because he didn't really have any dynamic to play off of with any other performer. If you're giving him a talk show with a sidekick like an Ed McMahon, oh my God, he could have put anybody on the Big Four to shame.
Oh yeah, he would have.
But yeah,
also, I'm not the only one. They're not the only ones. JR has it. George Clooney has it. Believe it or not, George.
Right. Clooney, that's why he started taking a lot less roles.
Yeah, and George Clooney,
especially the leading ones.
Yeah. Here's Brosnan, Terrence Howard, Andrew Lloyd Webber. Yes, that Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Yeah, although he's more of a behind-the-scenes guy.
Yeah, he's a musical and theater director and a composer and Also, one that I mean I can consider because I have spoken to him, and that's Hafthor Julius Bjornsson, the Mountain.
Oh yeah.
Which who wants to tell that big some bitch that hey your face looks funny when he could instantly pick you up with one hand and go, you go away, little man.
He can just about do the Andre. It's like, I'm going to put my hand over your face, except my fingers are touching the back of your skull.
And you're going to shut up now. Yes, sir.
Like that is legitimately the scariest picture.
Yeah.
Showing off Andre's giant, like the whole thing with like, oh, I've got like, 3 full-grown women on each arm. But it's like, no, when he's just palming your entire head and you're a full-grown adult, because that's that moment of recognition of, no, this man can
hurt you,
kill me at any moment before anybody knows what he's doing to stop him.
Although the fun part about Andre is Andre was such a gentle giant, and he was a good man.
Oh yeah, well it's what Bret Hart said, where he was, oh yeah, I did a bunch of matches with Andre, back especially in the Hart Foundation tag days when he was up and coming. He's like, and Andre loved doing that. Oh, I'm standing on your chest spot where he grips the ropes, and that's the secret to it. He's actually leaning forward, putting his weight on the arms.
Oh yeah, light as a feather. I mean,
yeah, and that's what Bret said. He's like, I must have taken that spot at least 100 times. And not once did I have a single bruised rib the next day.
The funniest one too was Andre loved ribbing people. He loved Jake the Snake's famous story about the minute fart.
Yeah.
Which people are like, is Jake being full of shit? And everyone's like, no, he
No. Andre was from a small village in France. He was a farm boy. He knew a thing or two about gaseous emissions.
Oh yeah.
Like never forget. Andre was a European farm boy.
Oh yeah. So episode 200. The fact you've stuck with something for 200 anything.
Oh yeah.
Except for the upcoming marriage to Kelly, that's another thing you stuck with for years. So
yeah, that's little over 4 years together already, and we're getting ready to do the big ceremony
in October.
Yep.
I will try to be there, circumstances pending. Because again, like I tell people, it's depending on school and health, but I am working on my capstone and dissertation this term. So
oh yeah, which no matter what, you'll have the invite.
Oh yeah. Which funniest part is, and you're getting ready to do all that stuff again too, but people were like, what's a capstone / dissertation? It's like, well, everything you did in 4 years of college. And we mean everything.
Gauntlet match.
One giant paper. You've got 2 months to don't fuck this up.
Yeah.
That's all they're telling you. Don't fuck this up.
It is not, in fact, that sleep is your enemy. It's that sleep does not exist for you for the next month.
Sleep does exist, but when you were awake, even when you're at work, you're doing research.
But
the company that I've chosen, by the way, which cheap pop, by the way, Amazon. Because hey,
there's
cheap pop. No, the
not every employee has had a great experience there, but I mean, any company that size is going to have some issues somewhere in the cog system.
Yeah. But my dissertation is going to be an entire holistic look at the entire Amazon corporation, as my field will be operations management, which I also have the background in accounting, so that kind of helped, but it's a whole different ball game altogether. It's like you're telling people, let's look at what we've done, and now let's look at what we're doing. So,
Yeah. I mean, the 200 episodes, honestly, it was one of those things of, probably about 10 episodes back or so. I'm sitting here checking the playlist and stuff, try to be like, okay, did I cover this topic yet? And I was like, oh my God, I've done a lot of episodes. Like I'm almost at 200.
right.
And I did take that one sabbatical
Well, yeah.
for several weeks, but that was after I had done over 100 episodes. It's like, even once a week, when it's not your bread and butter job, when you still got to go to a day job and doing the game streaming on the side and the family and social life, it's like, and no, sometimes you just got to say, you know what, we're just not going to do any episodes for a couple weeks. But yeah, I think a lot of it's just it's interpreting the whole mission statement of, let's have fun looking entertainment, let's do it with a positive light, but let's also clue people into stuff like the different legal cases. That's been
some fun ones, and Sightings is still the biggest.
The Sightings one, to this day, I mean, I will not deny that show has a fan base. I love that. Apparently there's still a fan base around, but I couldn't tell you for the life of me why that one video seems to just be the one video that attracts so much attention. I'm like, I talk about a lot of stuff that's got fan bases.
The next biggest video is honestly my comic reviews that I did over the Punisher War Journal, or no, the Nom. Sorry,
the
Punisher
Nom
War Journal and Nom. So both of those have been pretty. Which
those were some of the earliest ones on the channel, but
I mean, and I've got a pretty unique take on that stuff because nobody knows soldiering and Marines and other people unless you are one, and well, I are one.
That's true. You served your time.
Did my 4 to 6, and I'm mostly intact. The memories just here and there, but
yeah, but let's be honest. There is a very small percentage of soldiers that have sat there and done the active mission in the field that are going to go, oh yes, please, I want to keep all my memories.
Yeah.
Most of them are like, there's definitely, at the very least, there's like a week there you could just kind of take away and I'll be perfectly happy.
Oh yeah, all right, yeah.
It's just kind of the nature of the job and why I have respect for everybody that does it. Speaking of that, we got to take a minute, man.
Oh, what's up?
Because a few months ago, he did finish his second go around. Got to give props to Larry Hama and that G.I. Joe comic.
Yeah, I've got to read through Larry's second run, but
the IDW run was
I've heard it was great. I mean,
it is the same continuity as the Marvel run, which I did briefly talk about this. I need to do more detailed videos to runs, but the only thing that throws you about it, if you marathon the 2 volumes, is because he sets both volumes in present day, you get that. What is the term? It's not anachronism. That's something else. But you get that where it's because it's always written as taking place in present day. It's yes, but the characters haven't aged, but the world around them's clearly proceeded timeline wise.
Gotcha.
That I'm sure there's an exact term, but that chronal disconnect when you read the book, it's like, oh yeah, now all of a sudden they have cell phones.
Yeah.
He doesn't lean too hard and heavy into the tech just because, again, it is the story of the individual characters, but Yeah, as I said, if you go ahead and reread volume 1 to remind you of stuff and then do that and then immediately pick up the IDW volume 2, those first few issues, there's that mental like, okay, no, okay, this is fine. I can handle this.
Right. I've
But
also got to go through and all my stuff because I've got thousands of comics that it's not the fact that I haven't read them. It's like, holy hell, I've got
yeah.
school books and, you know.
Oh yeah, it's like, oh, I mean, dude, I've shown you pictures of my short
Yeah.
box mountain there, and it's like some of those I haven't read in so long, I couldn't tell you any individual story arcs in them. Just because
Yeah.
it's like, and I will reread them someday, but it's just there's always new stuff coming out. And yeah, that Larry Hama run, I don't know if you saw it, but around the time the last couple issues were coming out,
Yeah.
I posted on social media. I mean, just as an example of how real the book was, and because that was a lot of its success in the Marvel run, was that adult soldiers were reading it because they related to it.
Yeah.
It was the last page of an issue where Dusty, the desert
Right.
expert, had been carrying one of the other Joes like back from this like covert mission they did. I mean,
Yeah.
he's doing the whole fireman's carry, and he gets in. Everybody was like, "Dude, we just figured you were both MIA," and all this. And the doc runs up, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll get him. I'll take him." And he goes, "Dusty, he's dead. He's he's been dead for days. Why did you keep carrying him?" And Dusty just gives him that look and goes, "I made a promise."
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, like full credit the artist. I can't tell the artist's name right now off the top of my head, but that moment right there, I'm like, you read that and you tell me comics are just silly entertainment for children. I'm like, no, Hama got very real right there.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah, I
saw it,
remember
as we
that.
said at the start. He was Vietnam.
Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned the Nam comic. It's like, Larry lived through that. He didn't
Yeah.
write that one though. That was
He I'll think of his name in a minute. I had it tip of my tongue, but yeah,
yeah, because I think that was before Larry started working for Marvel.
it was. I'll look at my library because I do have it. I want to say,
Doug Murray.
yeah, Doug Murray.
No, Hama edited it.
Yeah.
Edited it. So he was involved. He was editor on that one.
Yeah, Doug Murray and had done all of those, but yeah, Hama was the editor for all the books.
Original illustrator was Michael Golden.
Yeah. Also, I got one for you that we
So,
will
so
have a
Hama was
special.
involved in that one. He's
Yeah. He
he's
did
he's,
editing.
he's basically comic books go-to war correspondent.
Also, there's one that we'll probably read together. I'll have to share with you. I do have Jim Cornette's Behind the Curtain, the digital edition.
Yeah, you showed me some of the
stories,
couple
that
of the
he's got in.
pages. Yeah.
So we'll have to go through that.
Sputnik Monroe chapter.
Yeah, which we've covered him somewhat. Sputnik was unique. We'll
Oh, you could do an entire book on Sputnik's wrestling run. Just what he did to help and
desegregate
and among the at least among the wrestling
arenas. He desegregated the Memphis arenas because he told them, well, either you let them on the floor or I'm not coming. And the promoters were like, well, you're too valuable, so let them on the floor.
And of course, let's remember, part of the other side of that was he made sure there was enough of those fans. I mean, I know it sounds horrible to say that phrase, those fans, but point we're making.
The African American fan base.
Yes, the African American fan base, by at least twice, probably more than that, getting arrested for going to their segregated neighborhoods and like drinking in their bars and hanging out with them, which was at that time in that part of the country highly illegal.
Yeah, he
was
got
it what
arrested.
It was arrested on a
mopery.
Mopery, that was it, because it's a variant on vagrancy, being where you're not supposed to be.
Which
he would just
mopery,
he made so much money off wrestling, he just paid the fine and walked away.
He hired an African American black attorney to represent him.
Yeah, I'd forgotten about that part.
Yeah, he had African American attorney, he had an African American agent. That's another part people forget. He had a booking agent that was
it Sputnik that was in the first, at least in the Memphis territory, integrated tag team?
Yes, he was. Yes, he was.
Yeah, I think in some of the other territories in other parts of the country, somebody might have done, but in Memphis, in the South, he was in the first integrated. So that was again another part of how he.
And Sputnik also had the modern African American kids. You know that blonde streak where they have in the hair?
Yeah,
that's kind of an old urban tribute to Sputnik because he did that. Sputnik was black haired, but he had the blonde streak through his hair.
Yeah. That's like I love that that Denzel Washington movie, Remember the Titans.
Yeah.
Which is, set during this same time period. For people who have not seen the movie, I do recommend it. But about high school football team and integrating it. But I love that part where the white player gets injured in the car wreck.
Yeah.
And the African American players visiting him, and the nurse is like, "Oh, you have to leave now. It's after visiting hours. Only family can stay." And he just looks at the nurse and goes,
"They are family."
Hell, that man's my brother. And the nurse just like waits that minute. It's like, okay, you know what? Yeah, let him. It's like you can stay another hour.
Right.
Just that moment where it's like, no, that man's my brother. It's like, this is united by football, which was the whole. Yeah, that was a great movie.
But yeah, Ellis Auditorium was where Sputnik performed and told them, "Hey, desegregator, I'm not going to show up." And other venues were like, "Well, we're making a whole lot of money off these." It's like, at the time they called them Negro,
but
it's an antiquated term for those of you that are going to get mad. Learn your history first.
We are direct quoting the people involved. But yeah, if you want a real good rundown, there is clips available on YouTube here of you can type in Cornette Sputnik Monroe, and he will go into a very thorough history of Sputnik, kind of on a couple of those videos, gives you
a lot
quick rundown,
a whole lot better than we could because Dave would do the video, but I would have to do the research. I'd have to do the citing, and Dave has seen all of my notations that I've done.
Oh yeah, well,
ever since college, it's
Cornette's video will give you the rundown of why this is worth researching.
Oh yeah, very detailed.
You can trust Cornette's summary of it because it's like
he was there for one. He was there during the tail end.
Yeah, he was there in the tail end of Sputnik's run, but he talked to Sputnik and the people that worked with him. He has, to this day, he has the magazines and the newspaper clippings.
Oh yeah, Castle Cornette is probably one of the biggest wrestling museums unofficially.
Yeah, his what he calls the vault, and it's not just that he has them. He has them in plastic. I mean, he preserves them as these periodicals as well as any historian of anything preserves periodicals.
And
he's
not only
a touch OCD by his own admittance, and that
because he also preserves it by date.
Yeah.
He also preserves everything by date, by event.
Yeah, I love that video shoot. I wish I could find the full thing. Might have to string together a few parts, but
Yeah.
some of it's gotten lost off the easy parts of YouTube. But where him and Heenan are going through the vault and they're flipping through some of the magazines, and they're just like he pulls up this magazine that's from like the 60s, and they're going through it and looking at all the guys in the picture, and Heenan's like managed him,
Yeah.
um, worked against me and my guy. One of my guys worked against him in a feud. He
Yeah.
still owes me money.
Right.
It's like they're going through that, and it's like
Yeah.
these are guys that have lived through the decades. It's like people were said about one of the things that made Undertaker so valuable is he started at the tail end of the Hulkamania Randy Savage era,
Yeah.
and
All the way to current era.
yeah, because he just retired a couple years ago. It's like he can go on a straight line from Hulk Hogan to Roman Reigns.
Roman Reigns.
And
which Roman and AJ were his last opponents.
Yeah, the graveyard match, but yeah, as far as the main event stuff, yeah, Roman is he's
His
putting
last
together
main
a
event.
run right now, which is just, I mean, it's impressive on a longevity thing. Just
Yeah. I believe they're probably going to have him break Hogan's record for the
well, I
title
think
reign.
it's at least his second run. Cumulative, he's still got a lot of time to go.
A lot of years to go because
that first Hogan run was like
ridiculous.
Ooh, it was. Oh, I gotta think because let's see.
4 years. Hogan's
Yeah,
first run was
four
about
years and some change because he lost it a few months after WrestleMania 3, and he had it for a couple years before WrestleMania started. It was like 4.5 years, and then
the two streaks that no one's ever beating is Bruno's runs. That's never going to happen again.
You might be Bruno's second run because that was only like, I think 3-5 years, maybe.
5 years was Bruno's second run. His first run wasn't it close to 10 or 11?
Well, I think it was 11 total. The first one was like 8. Hold on, again. Let me pull this up real quick. But just keep talking.
But then you also have the Pedro Morales run, which was close to 5 years.
Yeah. Let's see.
What I'm saying is those two runs are going to be hard to, He could probably take Hogan's runs and he could take Billy Graham's runs.
Yeah, it was 11 years totaling the two reigns. The first reign is 2,803 days.
So, yeah, he's not getting anywhere near that one. The audience will
total 4,040. So it's.
Yeah, that's untouchable. The total amount of time, but not even Flair has much time, and Flair has 16 reigns officially.
Yeah.
Yeah. People forget that they were not very long reigns.
Yeah. And that's like God, his daughter Charlotte, she brags about it. She's like, "Oh, I'm 14-time champion." I'm like, "Sweetie, like 6 of those reigns were a month each."
Yeah.
Like it's not the bragging rights you think it is. But yeah, it's Bruno's is never gonna touch. I think if any major iconic one gets broken anytime soon, I'm gonna say Honky Tonk's Intercontinental run. That's still the longest, but they might have Gunther break it.
Yeah, he could.
He believably could, and and it's one of those things like God bless him. I don't think Mr. Ferris there is so beloved by Vince in the current and Hunter in the current timeline that he's they're going to preserve his record out of respect. God bless him. He made one of the dumbest gimmicks ever pitched work on national TV. But since retiring from full-time wrestling, he has burned some bridges.
all of them.
Yeah.
But considering our spyware says we've got a little bit of time left.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's run down what
Little
we've been
liquid I
doing.
will
What
not officially sponsor and endorse.
exactly.
But
Let's run down what we are and what we will be doing.
In the next 200 episodes,
Yeah. Dave will still be playing his games. He'll be after October. Hopefully he doesn't pull a James Rolfe and completely writes an autobiography where people are like, dude, are you okay?
yeah, there's a reason I did not touch the biography or really a lot of is just auxiliary media on his channel. The nerd character still works, although God, that receding hairline is just, it looks really odd.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, it strikes us all, but
it's gonna strike us all eventually where it thins out, but not to that degree.
But yeah,
anyway.
that's Rolf's autobiography is a great example of, dude, sometimes the curtain just needs to stay up.
Mm-hmm. The other one that
but yeah,
the
we'll
other thing that
the game streams are actually close to hitting 200 episodes too.
So yeah,
so that's going to be about a month or month and a half after this.
Yeah,
after this goes live here.
So yeah, so we'll figure something out there. But the other thing that'll happen is I'll with my woman, we're starting a book club type thingy. I've got a massive library of books, just regular books and ebooks and books I don't know where. And this will be a completely non-political take because politics are dumb. They're really dumb.
And as I say here on Roulette Productions, why we try to stay on the positive note with all of our reviews and blogs and is that, look, if you want to see somebody tear down a given movie or a book or a music album or a video game, you can find 12 of those reviews,
including one that's celebrating, his one that celebrates antagonizing the fans, and another one that they decided to have a under 80K. I'm not mentioning their name because you can find it. You can find them bragging about losing viewers, and it's like, that's not something to brag about. Losing viewers means you lose. It's not even the revenue part, it's the principle of it.
Yeah, I mean,
they think that you're,
it's like this. There's a few things here and there, but in general, if you are bleeding fans every time you post a video, you need to stop and think about what you're doing. We don't have a huge viewer base on any of our videos, but at least that number is consistent, except for the occasional oddball like the sightings. I do want to say real quick, because again, this is the kind of thing we love to do here at Roulette Productions. I want to give mad props to the fact that he is still working after so many decades and is one of the great unsung heroes of Hollywood. Let's take a moment to appreciate Wallace Shawn.
Yeah.
You may know him as the voice of Rex the dinosaur in Toy Story. You may love him in The Princess Bride or one of 1,000 other television guest roles. One of the most unique characters visually and voice-wise. And I mean, just everything he does, he kills whatever character he plays. He does such a good job at it. It's one of those things, even if it's voice work, you just feel good hearing that voice and going, oh yeah, this guy's in so much of my favorite stuff.
Yeah.
And we have always appreciated those not always Hollywood A-listers here. I may do a few videos saluting those. We've done some salutes to various lower tier stars. So we may have to do a couple more of those in the future.
Right.
Before we ran out of time, I did want to throw that out because mad props to Wallace Shawn.
Oh yeah, dude's still going. We don't know how he's still going, but shine on you, crazy diamond.
Woo, him and Mel Brooks. Mel just helped produce History of the World Part 2 after decades of teasing it. It's a mini series on streaming, but yeah, Mel's in his 90s and he's still mentally functional and physically capable. So God bless him and whatever exercise and diet routine he's on.
Spaceballs 2, The Quest for More Money.
Yeah, we got the animated show that didn't last too long on that one. But yeah, History of the World Part 2 came out a few months back. So he's still plugging along. But yeah. I've got some plans for some interesting videos. We're going to do some more looking back on the history of how the movie industry has been run, because I like those behind the scenes peeks. Gonna have more games, and again, never know when my buddy here is going to pop up, do his own little sidebar thing when he's got time. As he said, he's plotting book reviews.
Yeah, or a book club, and then on top of that, I've got a capstone to work on. So
sure, after you get done with your important school stuff and you have a little more time. But hey, appreciate you coming on, man, so we could make this episode special.
Definitely, because like I said, it's not that I'm trying to avoid all of you lovely people. It's more the fact that holy hell, I underestimated how much work college was. Again.
Yep. Top college and holding down the full-time job and trying to be good to the good lady in your life.
Oh yeah.
It's definitely been a learning experience. Finding that balance in life, but go for it, man. Still, we're just about ready to get kicked off by our software here. So in the meantime, in between time, as I say at the end of all my videos here on the Ramblings, stay happy, stay healthy, and we'll see you in 7.
Do it.